first learned how to sew from my mom. She grew up making her own clothes. My mom's mom sewed and taught her to sew. She made a lot of her own clothes in high school, and when I was a kid growing up, she would make my sister and I dresses and Halloween costumes. And my first sewing project was pretty much she sewed it and I just kind of watched. But I was 7 years old and we made a dress for one of my dolls. So that was a nice bonding experience, and I feel like something that she's passed down to me. She still enjoys sewing and makes a lot of her own home decorations and clothes and things like that. I'm really inspired by colors, textures, fun prints. So playing the colors and prints off of each other is my favorite thing. I just love like picking out the textiles and mixing and matching them, and a lot of that inspires what I make. Like if I find something that will be, oh, this would be so cute for a skirt or make a really interesting bag, that's kind of where it all starts for me, is with the textiles themselves. So this is the So Minimal Boutique, where I sell all of my one-of-a-kind and upcycled products. I have reversible bandanas. I like to do a lot of patchwork using scraps of fabric, dresses, pouches, scrunchies. Everything I make myself. The only thing I carry that I don't make myself is these button earrings, clips, and necklaces that my friend Vanessa makes using vintage buttons. Some sale items here, and then back here is the fitting room, complete with the fun cat pillow. And that's it for the boutique area. Over here is where the magic happens. So here's my machines. This is my main machine. It has a really good zigzag stitch, which is kind of one of my signatures. I do a lot of applique work with a zigzag. And this is a really awesome machine. So I was working this job, and on my days off, I would just sew all the time. On Monday, I would go back to work and I would just think about like, okay, on Friday, I can, like, this is what I'm gonna make. And I would like get really excited about it, and it was like the bright spot in my week. On one of my days off, I was sewing, and I just had this thought where I was like, I wish I could sew all the time. And then I had this other thought that was like, well, maybe you can. So that's kind of how it started, and I talked to my husband about it, and he knew how miserable I was, and he was like, yeah, I really think you should do that. It does feel like a real job in the sense that it's legitimate work. Like I'm creating pieces that people use. But in the sense that I get to show up and just kind of do what I want to do that day, it doesn't feel like a real job. It's definitely work involved, but I think the fact that like I'm my own boss is maybe the part that makes it feel like, ooh, I can do whatever I want. You know, I get to make the decisions. So that part to me still some days is like, I can't believe that this is the way I live. This is awesome. When I look back on my decision to start this business, I still think it was kind of a wild thing for me to do, but I really think it was the best decision as well. I think that people who work because they need to work and not because they're doing something that they're passionate about, like I think that that's totally admirable and respectable and everything like that. But for myself, I just needed an outlet that was creative and fulfilling, I think, more than I needed the financial comfort. I definitely feel like I'm successful at this stage in my life. I, of course, have good days and bad days, and sometimes I might not be stoked on what's going on, but generally I support myself doing my art. I try to be a decent person Like, I feel like I have it made. So I'm pretty pleased with my life for sure.